Honorable colleagues, I want to welcome you to today's sitting.
On Tuesday, 30th January 2024, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, directed the Committee on Physical Infrastructure to intervene in a likely crisis where the African Development Bank may possibly suspend funding for the ongoing road construction in Kampala.
In a letter addressed to the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority on 17th December 2023, African Development Bank threatened to suspend disbursement of almost US dollars 288 million to KCCA for the reconstruction of the dilapidated road networks or infrastructure system in Kampala. The bank says Uganda has failed to provide counterpart funding.
I chaired a meeting in December involving the two ministers for Kampala and the executive director. We, together with the bank, we made a decision to provide the counterpart funding amounting to 15 billion. And if you check properly, in this quarterly release for quarter 3, we have actually provided 20 billion for this purpose.
Let the committee summon the minister, okay? The minister responsible, the KCCA, and the committee, you report back to this house on Thursday.
In the sitting, the Deputy Speaker directed the Committee on National Economy to make an assessment on the country's public debt and report back to Parliament.
The composition of public debt stock as defined by the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as at end of June 2023 was Uganda shillings 86.751 trillion.
As we speak now and you look at the resource envelope, as we are clamoring for more roads, for more schools, the discretionary expenditure is going to reduce by a whopping 4 trillion from 25 to 21. This is money that government had to spend this financial year. Next year, that money is not available. But what is increasing? We are going to be debt refinancing more by a whopping 9 trillion. Interest is going to increase on our debt, domestic debt, by a whopping 1 trillion. And going forward, if we continue like this, we are a country that is going to go the way of Sri Lanka. We are on the verge of being blacklisted as a country. Is it high time that Parliament and the government, Ministry of Finance, have engaged them while I was a shadow minister? They don't have, it is high time we sit and change the way we behave.
I've been interacting with speakers from other countries. Surprisingly, when they look at our debt, they say ours is sustainable compared to theirs. You meet speakers from Southern Africa, from the SADC. So these are issues I think we have to look at. And really, the Committee on National Economy, let the Committee on National Economy make an assessment, bring a report, and we debate that report here.
On Wednesday, 31st January 2024, Parliament urged government to expeditiously release funds for donor-funded projects whose activities are ongoing.
On the 1st of July 2022, warrants to various local government votes equivalent to 734.8 billion had not been spent. Of these unspent warrants, 49% were wage, which is 358.9 billion. And 31% was for the U-gift, which is 225 billion, 233,583,293 shillings. 20% was for USMID, which is equivalent to 150.6 billion. The committee therefore established that the affected projects required a revoting of funds whose appropriation had expired. It took the Minister of Finance up to December 2022, 6 months, to submit the supplementary request to Parliament. Parliament approved or Parliament approval of the supplementary request for revoting these local government projects funds was done 10 months later, which was 27th April 2023. And on the 5th of May 2023, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development communicated to local governments about the supplementary Schedule 1 financial year 2022-23 as approved by Parliament, as subsequently communicated the additional Q4 expenditure limit for the Wage and Development 2022-23 on May 22nd, 2023, requiring local governments to urgently submit accounting warrants on the integrated financial management system and to ensure that the salaries were fully paid and development activities executed in time. Funds were eventually disbursed in June, nearly a year after these funds had been swept back.
You see, when we are making recommendations, like the recommendation Roman 3 on page 9, where you say in order to ensure the unspent warrants by donor finance projects like USMID and we give, Parliament should give the Minister authority to release in July. But we allow under 3%. Okay? I remember this is what we were asking. That these priority areas, why aren't they the ones you consider under 3%? Then you seek retrospective approval. So you want us as a committee, do you want us to really extend beyond the 3% when we already have the 3%? That they would use? You remember the other money for UGIFT was again brought under Schedule 2 of the supplementary for us to appropriate here at the last hour. And we asked, why didn't you appropriate it under 3%? So when we give a recommendation like this, then what we are saying is that such an urgent matter does not qualify to be worked on under 3%, where they come and seek retrospective approval.
During the sitting, MPs called on the Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, to fast-track implementation of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Act 2022 as a way of curbing the use of substandard fishing gear.
Over the years, I've brought and my colleagues in the fishing community to this house a lot of issues of torture, killing, extortion, and gross abuse of the human rights of the fishers of this country. But usually we focus on the enforcers of the law, who are the men in uniform, as these other traders continue to thrive. I have engaged with UPDF and I applaud the effort that Honorable General Muhoozi has done over the past by engaging this fishing community. But nothing substantial has come. My prayers are as follows. 1, investigate, arrest, parade, and prosecute these illegal net traders as you do to the fishers of this country. 2, I propose that we disband the Fish Protection Unit and follow the Fish and Aquaculture Act 2023 that we passed in this house. And thirdly, support the fishers with legal nets, boats, engines.
The nets are brought into this country by people who import the nets, they pay the taxes, and then the end user suffers, Right Honorable Speaker. It is our prayer as a community of the fishing community throughout the country that actually we look at the plight of the fishermen.
There are those nets that come already made from out, but there is also the threads which are imported, and the people make the nets locally. They have learned the art of making these nets. So not only the nets should be banned, but also those threads, the material that the people use for making the nets. So, Right Honorable Speaker, it's a big problem and which needs to be sorted out.
On Thursday, 1st February 2024, the Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, said that government is considering a policy reversal on vaccination of livestock to allow farmers purchase vaccines.
Honorable Speaker, our total susceptible animal herd that requires FMD vaccination as per current estimates is 44 million cattle, sheep, goats and pigs. This therefore requires an annual vaccine stock of 18 million doses for the biannual vaccination requirement at a cost of $2 per dose. The financial implication for this translates into US dollars 176 million. Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues, government has been studying this financial implication and notes the financial stress it would impose on the national budget if the requirement of the biannual mass vaccination is to be achieved. Accordingly, and with the guidance of the President, a cabinet paper is scheduled for discussion on Monday, 5th February 2024, that's the next cabinet, to consider a number of policy options, including cost sharing by the farmer. Since the cost per dose is seemingly affordable for most livestock farmers, I will revert to this House and to the country on the final position adopted by Cabinet.
The House passed the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Bill 2024 that will bring Uganda's aviation authority in conformity with the Convention on International Civil Aviation.
The object of the bill is to ensure that Uganda is in compliance and satisfactory performance in the Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program that commenced on the 6th of September 2023. The first phase ended and the second phase is on now, ending on the 8th of February 2024, and to ensure the safety and security of Uganda's aviation sector.
The policy and principles of this bill are to amend Civil Aviation Authority Act CAP 354 to bring it to conformity with the Convention on the International Civil Aviation, Chicago Convention, to provide for delegation of powers to inspectors to have unrestricted access to aircraft, aerodromes, and aviation facilities, including cargo and records of aviation organizations under Uganda Civil Aviation Authority.
I put the question that the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Bill 2023 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say and to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Bill 2024.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, congratulations. House adjourned to Tuesday at 2 p.m. And I wish you a successful Tarehe Sita.